Okay, so Campbell's are musical family. You and your brothers are sons of the famous Scottish folk singer, Young Campbell, who was leader of Young Campbell folk group, one of the most important folk bands of the 60s revival, folk revival.
Absolutely.
Yes, absolutely. I was lucky enough to tour with my dad. You know, I've performed with my dad and so on. He's gone now, regrettably. But yes, he was a great influence in our lives.
As a children, you've been playing and singing in the family band.
Yeah, I started when I was about 5, but I think you know, different members of the family had different feelings towards Dad's work. I was a bit more keen than maybe others were.
What was the influence of your father's folk music, social kind of folk music of the 60s to the music of Campbell brothers?
Well, I think politically we were influenced greatly by both of our parents. They were both strong, staunch socialists, and they gave us our political outlook. But musically, we were poles apart, you know, and I think our dad was very disappointed when we first decided we were going to play reggae. But I think when we got successful, he ended up very proud of us, you know.
Oh, of course he was, but I think he even came round to the way of thinking that reggae was really a folk music anyway, and that made it perfectly acceptable. So yeah, I think he came to terms with it.
He did try to convince me that reggae was Jamaican folk music.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Your grandpa was a union member too, no?
Very strong.
So,
yeah.
So social justice runs in the family.
Indeed,
for sure.
Indeed, yeah. There's a plaque to my granddad on Union Street in Aberdeen because he led the hunger march down to England from Aberdeen in the 40s.
40s, was it?
In the late 40s, yeah. And of course, my dad moved down to Birmingham from Scotland in his teens. He was 15 when he moved to England. So although we've got a very strong Scottish feeling of roots, we're really English actually. We're born there, but I like to do it with an accent.
Yeah, that's interesting. So Birmingham, it's a music city. It's known for rock, for psychedelics. Half of the Led Zeppelin are from Birmingham.
For everything.
Black Sabbath, The Move, everybody's there.
There's a lot of that, yeah.
Of course, reggae and ska scene was pretty strong too when you started to do. And how was it to grow up in a wee town?
Well, where we grew up was very much multiracial, very mixed, musically very mixed, you know, so we got exposed to all types of music that maybe if you lived in another part of town you wouldn't hear, you know. So I think it had a major effect on my life for sure, and the music that I wanted to play as a musician, you know. Just because I grew up surrounded by that music, that became the music that I wanted to play, you know.
What were the bands of the rich kids?
Duran.
Not even that. The rich kids were listening to rock music, you know. It's a different audience altogether.
What about today's music scene in Birmingham? Is it still strong? Is it interesting? Do you follow it?
Oh yeah, it's a melting pot. You know, Birmingham is a melting pot and a cultural melting pot. So obviously it's a musical melting pot. So there are many different factions of all types of music and a very strong and healthy music scene in Birmingham. Yeah.
Is there a band today you like to listen to from the B-Town, especially?
No. Although we have been working with a new band from Birmingham called Kyoko. I say new; they've been around for a few years, but they're just having some success now. They've played with us a few times in a few different gigs, and
they're like UB40 30 years ago.
They remind us of ourselves.
Bunch of kids, mixed kids, all doing different music with different influences. It's beautiful stuff.
Yeah.
And so it's very much still alive.
So there's a rumor that somebody's been offered to be lead singer of UB40 in '78 or something.
What? You got me. I didn't understand that one.
No, mate.
78?
78, yeah. When was it?
When we first formed,
Yeah.
78.
Oh, I see. Yeah, so it's 78, 79, yeah. but they're the same singer then. I've been doing it for 10 years.
And is there still a professional, the only professional spoon player in the music unit?
Yeah. As I said, I used to tour with my dad, and that spoons was more appropriate in those days.
There's still no spoon players in England registered, or?
No, there's still just me.
Just one.
What's your favorite UB40 song?
Oh, it's impossible. As we always say, it's the one you're working on now. You know, it's inevitably you're excited by what you're working on, but for the audience's sake and for when we're performing, it's wonderful to do the numbers that people want to hear. You know, it really is. I mean, we're very lucky to be able to do it. You know, and people still love it. So I suppose you have to say that's the best.
It changes all the time, you know. It's sometimes you might put a song back into the set that you haven't done for a while, you know, and then of course
comes back to life and
you love it again. Yeah. And you know, it does.
Then you do it 30 times and you start to go off it again.
Yeah, when you've recorded, you know, 250 songs, it's difficult to have a favourite, you know.
That's true. You recorded the album in Jamaica, or solo album?
Me?
Yeah.
I worked on one with Ali in Jamaica about 15 years ago now, but I'm afraid nothing came of it.
Oh, it's still not.
That, I think.
Is it 20 years ago, maybe?
25 even.
Is it? Yeah. Oh, well,
So it's still not released.
No, it never will be. No.
It's the box.
No, it doesn't belong to me, unfortunately.
So
and the producer was rubbish.
There you go.
So Barbados, Australia, Birmingham. What's your favorite place in the world?
Ooh. Oh, that's a good one, isn't it? I think Croatia's the right answer, isn't it?
After today's show, I hope so. No? Varaždin.
No, I mean many places. We love Holland. We love going to Holland and play because the fan base
they love us,
is so strong there. But I love New Zealand. I love the Caribbean. You know, I even love parts of America. I don't love Americans, but I love parts of America.
Ooh, careful.
Okay, well, the last one. The local dialect in Birmingham is Brahmi, or it's called Brahmi.
Brummy.
Could you please say something for our readers of Varaždinski.hr on your local dialect?
We do it all the time.
He's doing it now. That's him.
That's why no one can understand me, because I'm speaking in Brummy right now.
So this is Brahmi. It was an interview in Brahmi.
It's much too fast for anybody else to understand. If we speak,
has to slow me down
when
all
we
the
talk
time.
to each other, we speak much quicker, you know, and no one can understand us. So
Even in England.
even in England, we're now speaking very slowly, especially for you.
He has to train me.
Okay, thank you very much, and I wish you a great show today.
Pleasure, thank you.
Cheers.